All right, guys, welcome to Beyond the Mat. This is April 4th, 2022. We're reviewing Monday Night Raw from Dallas, Texas, day after WrestleMania 38. And a good WrestleMania it was. A lot of things happened tonight that kind of cleaned up some loose ends from WrestleMania and started some new storylines. We know going into today, we heard some news. Lesnar had already flown home before Raw tonight. We knew he was not going to be on this show. Uh, Roman won last night and is now the double champion. During that match, he did suffer a shoulder injury, and that likely led to the length of the match being a little bit shorter and the finish coming when it did. But overall, I thought the match did what it needed to do. Uh, we also have Cody wanting to cut a promo today, and we're hearing a lot of news about Edge starting this new heel faction, which I think is pretty cool. And we saw it materialize a little bit tonight. But, I just want to clarify a couple things that I thought WrestleMania nights 1 and 2 were both excellent. I thought one was a little bit more heavy on the wrestling side and was very well executed. Night 2 was a lot heavier on the entertainment side. I really loved all of it. The nostalgia stuff was great. Austin stuff was great. The Vince stuff was a little bit cringe, but I was entertained. I liked it. I was a little bit negative last night about some stuff because I was a little bit tired. Tired now. I want to get through this Raw thing pretty quick. Doing all these podcasts, WrestleMania weekend every single night, being up till 3 a.m. has got me worn out. So we're going to get through Raw tonight pretty quick. But we knew going into the night that we were going to have Roman Reigns. We were going to see Cody with the promo. We knew Brock Lesnar was going to be away. We knew that Edge was starting this heel faction. And we kick off the show with Cody Rhodes coming out to do a promo. Enters to a nice big pop. He's getting some Cody chants from the crowd as he enters the ring. He's talking about how he returned after 47 days of speculation about what was going on, rumors going around, nobody really reporting the truth and nobody really knowing what's going on. And he's sitting in the background there. Talks about how he was the star that left WWE in the dust, and that when he left, he was a different man, but he found himself while he was away, and now he's returned to fulfill his dream since he was 8 years old, to fulfill his dream, his childhood dream of becoming a world champion someday, and dedicating that to his father. He's then interrupted by Seth Rollins. Rollins dances out to the ring in his usual fashion, enters the ring. He and Cody stare each other down for a little bit. And then they have a nice handshake. Rollins welcomes him back, and I think that illustrates to us that they will not be feuding anytime soon. That was just a WrestleMania one-off match. Crowd really loved Cody here, telling him he deserves it when he talked about winning the championship, things like that. And says he's glad he came out there to clarify his intentions. So, first match of the night was a tag team match here. Championship contenders match. We got Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan challenging the champions newly crowned yesterday, Sasha Banks and Naomi. Championships contenders match. Not really sure what that means. I'll get into that because, we got, during the match, all the near falls, we got Jimmy Smith saying, oh, it could be new champions. We knew the championships were not on the line. And then after the match, we get Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan awarded a championship match next week, despite the outcome of this match. Now, the rumor going around, and it's all but probably confirmed, and we saw it sort of foreshadowing playing out tonight, is that Edge's new heel faction is going to see 2 new members in the imminent future. One of them being Rhea Ripley, which is, she fits the part, I think, especially in the gear she's been coming out with. Gear she came out last night fits Edge's new gimmick perfectly, looking like a dominatrix from the movie Hostel or something. That stuff was pretty scary looking. So you got Ripley, also Tommaso Ciampa, soon to be called up to Raw, is another one that they are looking to pair with Edge. So we got Ripley and Morgan here taking on Sasha Banks and Naomi. Man, a good match between these two teams. Saw a weird spot in the middle of it where they get out to the outside. Rhea goes out for her apron senton bomb. Then Banks catches Naomi's crossbody. Naomi hits a crossbody, takes out everybody. All women are down. Um, Banks hit a meteor off the apron to Liv Morgan to start that out. And it looked like she got a little bit shaken up, but we returned from the break. We got Morgan and Ripley isolating Naomi on their side of the ring. During the break, uh, we saw Ripley get Naomi in a leg scissor in the middle of the ring. She's holding her there. Naomi fights out of it, hits a springboard roundhouse kick. Liv and Sasha get the hot tags. Banks hits a knee, then a head scissor. Smacks her with a pair of meteors in the corner, and she goes up top for a flying meteor, but gets a near fall out of that one. Liv rolls her up then for two, then rolls her up again for another near fall. She hits a step up insecurity, and they both go down. Now we got both women down. Ripley tags herself in. We got Ripley and Liv hitting an assisted power bomb on Banks. They go for a pin, get a near fall. They go for another move, but Sasha dodges it. Rhea slams Liv Morgan instead. So they're going for another double team move here. Rhea picks up Liv Morgan, goes to slam her on Sasha. Sasha dodges it. So Rhea slams Liv right on the ground. That takes Liv out of the equation. Banks hot tags Naomi. They discharge Rhea Ripley from the ring, grab a hold of Liv, end up hitting a modified assisted lung blower for the 1-2-3. So Sasha and Naomi looking strong in their first match after gaining the championships. Then later on backstage, we got Sonya Deville and Rhea Ripley. Commentary's letting us know that Sonya Deville has fulfilled Rhea Ripley's request. And this request was to have a title match next week. So now we're going to have, and it was made official, there's going to be a tag team title match between Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and Sasha Banks and Naomi, the champions, on Raw next week. Now, during this match, at the end, after the pinfall, Rhea Ripley kind of gave Liv a dirty look and then exited the ring, left Liv Morgan's on her knees in the ring, and it looked like they weren't really going to be too long for this world. So they're teasing a split there that would be in line with what we're looking at with her joining Edge. So now they have a tag team title match to go out there and, get some more dissension going there. So I think we're going to see a split between Ripley and Liv next week. Ripley's going to turn heel, and maybe she joins Edge next week, or maybe it takes another week for Edge to spot her, whatever. I don't know what the hell is going to happen there. The crowd was really giving Edge and Damian Priest a hard time tonight. I thought it was pretty great. But anyway, championship contenders match. I thought you had to win these matches to get the title shots. Apparently, you could just have to be in them, and then if your partner gets pinned, you can go ask Sonya Deville for a title shot. You get it next week. So that stuff doesn't really add up that they do with the name of these matches, this, that, and the third. I would have liked for them to come up with a better reason, a more logical reason for there to be a title match next week. But whatever. The bigger picture here is that we're going to see the title match, and we're likely going to see some dissension, a split. We won't see the tag team titles change hands, which is another good thing because we want to see them on Naomi and Sasha for a period of time. And that also, what they're doing here, the third thing that's great about it is that we have SmackDown stars and Sasha and Naomi defending their belts on Raw. So we're not seeing the tag team belts just get buried and not put on TV. Right away, we have them on Better Stars, and they're on TV right away. We saw the former tag team champs split up today. They came out for a match that never happened. They got in the ring. Zelina Vega blamed Carmella for everything. Then she said, "But we'll be okay." Carmella gets on the mic. Zelina Vega takes her out, beats the hell out of her. Carmella escapes, gets over to Corey, and they start French kissing and making out. It was totally cringeworthy stuff. But finally, we see that tag team break up. Glad to see that because Zelina Vega actually has a little bit of talent, and being strapped next to that, you know, zombie Carmella with her freaking mask, looking like a something out of some sort of Shakespearean play. It's ridiculous. So, they need to get rid of that mask. It doesn't look good. It doesn't protect shit. The gimmick is stupid, and it doesn't need to be on the show. The story here though was they split up. I like that. Now we got, I don't know which one of them's heel and which one's the face. Zelina's still a heel. I mean, nobody likes Carmella's unlikable, so now we got two heels. But at least they split the tag team up. We can see Zelina either tag with somebody else or just do something else. And really, that's what they never should have been the tag team champions all along, considering the way they booked them. They never defended them. They did nothing, and it was nice to see Sasha Banks, Naomi win yesterday, and we'll see them defending it again on Raw next week. Kevin Owens comes out, says Stone Cold must be great because you have to be great to beat KO. Then we have a new man come out, calls himself Ezekiel. Now, for anybody who's been living under a rock, this was the artist formerly known as Elias, claims that he's named Ezekiel, argues with Kevin Owens about it, says he's not Elias, he's Elias' younger brother, Ezekiel. So they have these different ideas for Elias. They're thinking maybe Macho Man gimmick, not. Then they think maybe something else. Then they kill him in a vignette. And then of all things, they bring him back as his own brother and have him out there with Owens, which was actually a good idea because Owens, very good on the mic. Everybody's going to know they're going to change Elias's name, obviously, to change the gimmick. And so everybody's going to know this is Elias. This isn't somebody else. So rather than work against that, they played right into it by having Kevin Owens be like, no, you're Elias, and argue with him and say, what the fuck are you talking about? There is no Ezekiel, you're Elias. And doing so allowed them to introduce a new character in a funny way. It takes away from the crowd being like, what the fuck? It's way better than just throwing him in a random match and people being like, hey, that's Elias. Why the hell did they change his name? They added a little bit comedy to the name transition. Not the most traditional way to introduce a character, but it is what it is. The next match, we see another character that we've been waiting for forever, Veer Mahan. Like I said, I've seen Veer wrestle at house shows a lot. Wasn't surprised to see him take out Dominic at the end of the Miz and Dom match because of the fact that he's been wrestling Dom at all the house show loops. Miz would do Miz TV, not Dom TV. Jesus Christ, can you imagine how boring Dom TV would be? If Miz TV isn't bad enough, can you imagine if Dominic had his own talk show? Jesus. So anyway, they actually do Miz TV at house shows sometimes. So Miz would do it with Dominic and then bring out his mystery opponent. It's Veer every time. Veer comes out, beats the hell out of Dominic, no sells everything. Now, this match was real quick. Dominic gets in quick control, goes for a 619. Miz gets out of there, blocks it, and drops him with the skull-crushing finale. 1, 2, 3. Match ended in like a minute. Then Veer's music hits. He comes out, wipes out Dom, wipes out Ray, mounts on top of Dom, puts him in a crossface, won't let it go. Officials had to come out. Then he gets out of the ring. Then we hear later in the night that we're going to get a match next week between Veer Mahan and Rey Mysterio, which is a good matchup between, you know, cruiserweight veteran Rey Mysterio and a bigger guy that doesn't sell much in Veer. It's a good developmental match for Veer. Good opponent for him. Small guy. They're pushing Veer as kind of a monster here, I think, and sort of an unbeatable force. Who knows? Maybe he'll take one of Roman's belts. I was talking to my friend before the show, probably watching the show now, about this. We're wondering what the hell are they going to do with those two belts. Paul Heyman looked like he was laboring and did not want to carry two belts for much longer. So are they going to give us a new belt? Is he going to drop a belt for a tournament? That's what I would like to see. I would like to see Roman say, you know what? I don't want this one belt. I don't want to be on Raw. Here you go. And then we get an 8-man tournament with qualifying matches before it. So I'd like to see that. Is it going to happen? Doubt it. They'll probably keep it on Roman Reigns for a while and do something like use the Money in the Bank as an opportunity for somebody to cash in while Roman's in a match that may be a two falls match. First falls for one belt, second falls for the other. Somebody cashes in, gets a fall on somebody for one of his belts, but the challenger takes the pin in the triple threat match as opposed to Roman, so it protects him. So you protect him with the Money in the Bank thing because of the fact that he'd be subdued by the end of the match, same as Rollins did at Mania 31 when he cashed in on Roman and Brock. And I'll tell you what, the best part about last night's match between Brock and Roman was that it was back and forth. When you have a match like that, people say the move variety wasn't there. They only have 3 moves: a spear, a suplex, a Superman punch. That's what it is when you have two big guys. It's basically like two end bosses in a video game. They're, logically, what fucking sense does it make to just strike each other when you have two unstoppable forces? Obviously, you're going to throw your biggest arsenal at them, which is their finishers. It's very video game like, but at the end of the day, that's what I have come to expect out of matches with two big guys like that. Now, people complained about the length of time, the abruptness of the finish. It was reported that during the spot where Roman Reigns hit the spear on Lesnar into the timekeeper's area, Roman Reigns did suffer a dislocated shoulder. There was pictures of it all over social media. I'm sure most of you saw it. So Lesnar also suffered a rib injury. So they were both hurt during this match. I don't know whether they decided to go home at some point, when or where they communicated. I'd have to watch it back a couple of times. I didn't spot it the times I did watch it back. But what I did see was, and I'm sure a lot of people noticed this on the first take, was that when Roman was making the ropes, being in the submission hold, and Heyman pushed the rope in, and Roman grabbed it, and Roman said, my shoulder's out, or it's out, or whatever the fuck he said. Heyman said, it's time, Tribal Chief. You need to rise up and overcome that shoulder and whatever. And then he hit the spear in that one. And I thought that it was a good point, another thing to add to the story, the fact that Heyman's been involved in this Brock Roman stuff all along. He was in Brock's corner at 31, in Brock's corner second time they fought, in Brock's corner for a while, and then in Roman's corner. And him saying that inspirational thing, if you want to interpret it this way, is one of the things that gave Roman the power to rise up in that moment and overcome Brock. So, because Roman never beat Brock with Heyman when Heyman was with Brock. Roman only beat him this time and the other times with Heyman, but only at WrestleMania with Heyman. So, I thought that was interesting. Now, you get Belair coming out doing a promo talking about how, she ever since SummerSlam. Needs to realize she had to become better to give the fans a better champion than Becky. She thanks Becky for reminding her that she needed to be better. She got a black eye, so she had sunglasses on. Now, people were reacting to this black eye. Acting, where'd the black eye come from? Black eye came from Becky Lynch, is on the top rope. Weird looking spot in the match on Saturday. Bianca Belair, I think, was out of position. She's closer to the middle of the ring. Becky's up top. She jumps off with. She's sort of in a seated position. Looks like she's going for either a double drop kick or a senton or something. But Belair is way too far away and just runs right into Becky's freaking foot. Catches her boot to the eye. So that's where the black eye came from. They're covering it with sunglasses. She gets big pyro, exits the ring, gets off the TV. Had a big reaction from the fans. Fans were very happy to see her as a champion. Moving on, we had Braun Breaker challenging Dolph Ziggler for the NXT title match. This was a decent little match here. Breaker started by charging Dolph into the corner, threw him with an overhead suplex. Ziggler then ran out of the ring, baited him inside, started delivering some blows to the back of the head. He hit a swinging neck breaker, then a jumping elbow, covered him up, but only got two. Now we got Dolph in control. Breaker no-sells a kick to the face, then catches Dolph mid-leapfrog for a big spinning spine buster slam. He catapults Ziggler into the turnbuckle. Breaker's now in control of the match as he takes Ziggler to the corner, mounts him up, but Ziggler slides out, pulls down his leg. Dolph hits a dropkick on Breaker, sends him to the ringside area. We hit a commercial. Back from the commercial, Ziggler slows down the match in the middle with a headlock to Breaker. Breaker breaks free, but pushing the rope rebounds, runs right into a dropkick for two. Dolph then stalks Breaker for a famouser, but Breaker counters it with a giant powerbomb. Ziggler starts talking some shit because both men were down at that point and trying to get back up. As they got up, Ziggler's talking some shit to Breaker. Breaker then takes control with two big shoulder tackles, an overhead release throw, then nails him in the face with a big boot. Just nailed him. Sets up for his finish, but Bobby Roode gets up on the apron just like he did at Stand and Deliver. Breaker gets distracted by this. Ziggler then rolls him up from behind in the schoolboy, but kicks out at 2.5. Braun says, fuck you. Does a swanton dive over the front rope, top rope, onto Roode, takes him out, then gets back in the ring, isn't really paying attention to anything. Ziggler nails him with a famouser, goes for the pin. Braun gets his shoulder up. Ziggler then goes for a kick. Breaker picks him up. Ziggler takes his eyes off of everything. Ziggler connects with a super kick. So Ziggler goes for a super kick, misses it. Breaker flips him up. Then Ziggler hits him, picks him up. Ziggler rakes his eyes. Ziggler nails him with the super kick this time, covers him up, only gets 2.5. Then Ziggler's tuning up the band just like Shawn Michaels. Going for the super kick, runs right into a spear. Breaker picks him up for his finish, does the gorilla press into the power slam, gets the 1-2-3, and gets back his NXT championship. So good match there for Breaker. Good match with Ziggler there on the Raw stage. They're doing this to get Breaker working with a good trusted worker like Ziggler, and to get him some exposure to the mainstream crowd, little baby steps at a time. The NXT crowd's the NXT crowd, and they're basically the same crowd all the time. Bring a guy up from NXT, whether he's ready or not, even if he's been wrestling dark matches, the main audience isn't necessarily going to react to him the way that we would want them to, or the way that we see them get reacted to in NXT, because that's a controlled environment. Every arena around the country might not have the exposure to Braun Breaker that they do. So doing this, having him in matches with a gatekeeper like Dolph Ziggler, is a very smart way to help build him, to help build his skills, and to help build his exposure and get him ready for when he really does come up full time. But obviously, since he got his belt back. He's not coming up right away. He's going to be down in NXT for a little bit while longer. I mean, he just fucking got there in the fall anyway. So then we got MVP coming out saying actions speak louder than words. Tells us that the actions that Bobby Lashley had at WrestleMania, the Almighty taking down the Omos, uh, brings out Lashley. Lashley gets a big babyface reaction. His timing here is great. Um, he's really playing the babyface role well. He gets in the ring, starts talking about how when Omos made that challenge, he knew that he could be the one to take him down. And when he knocked his ass down, he knew he'd do it at WrestleMania. Then, right in the middle of Lashley's promo, MVP takes him down from behind, starts talking shit, saying, "Hey, you never needed me. You never needed me." And he beats him down with Omos into the corner. Continues to beat him down. Eventually, MVP hits a running boot in the corner on Lashley. And that's it. So we see finally Omos get a mouthpiece. MVP turns on Lashley. Now Lashley's now a full-on babyface. Omos now has somebody who can cut promos for him. So, you know, wasn't when they had Lashley beat Omos, that in the vacuum, I wasn't too excited about that. But now him having beaten Omos without MVP being jealous about it, joining Omos, and now Omos having Lashley to work against a little bit to help rub him, number one, against a top star, and number two, work with someone who's as strong as they come and probably one of the only guys able to handle Omos in the ring and help him develop and get some of the green off him. That's a good sequence there. Just Lashley beating Omos at WrestleMania, didn't like it. But now that it's going to be an ongoing thing, at least for the short time, and we have MVP now with Lashley, and Lashley's full-time babyface, I like where they're going with that. Zelina Vega comes out, blames the WrestleMania loss on Carmella. I talked about this earlier, but Carmella then gets on the microphone and doesn't see it coming when Zelina Vega beats the hell out of her, gets her out of the ring. She runs over to Corey Graves. They start making out. Everyone's saying get a room. Even the women that were sitting ringside started backing up and cringing at this. I'm sick of the dynamic between Carmella and Graves, but whatever. That didn't last too long. We get a 6-man tag match, Austin Theory and the Usos versus Finn Balor and RK Bro. Theory and the Usos get the win after the ATO. This was a pretty good match. So Balor and Jimmy start this one out. Jimmy gets an advantage on Balor, but Balor then takes out everybody on the heel side, knocks down Theory, stomps on Jimmy Uso. Jay then sunset flips him, tries for a pin, but it gets blocked. Balor hits a slam in an attempt for one. Riddle then gets tagged in. He gets isolated in the Usos' corner. They work him over. Theory tags in, starts stomping down Riddle. Then he hits a snapmare and a stomp, goes for a cover, gets one. Riddle and Theory trade blows for a while, but Theory gains the advantage, whips Riddle into the ropes, but Riddle takes out the Usos in the meantime. Then a charging Theory is victim to a back body drop, which sends him to the ringside area. Riddle looks to take everybody out, but then Theory does a chop block to his calf, knocks him down off the apron. Commentary says he's hurt. We go to commercial. Come back for the commercial. Back in the middle of the ring. You got Riddle there. Rear headlock there by Jey Uso on Riddle. Riddle's looking for a tag, trying to fight out, but he gets blocked. Ends up getting back suplex by Jey Uso. Uso covers him up, gets a near fall. Uso then takes out Finn Balor. Riddle hits a huge jumping step-up knee while Uso was doing this to Balor. Then tags Orton in. Orton comes in, runs wild like he usually does. Hits a couple lariats, dodges a lariat, then hits a snap body slam. Looks for the draping DDT, but Jimmy hits it on Jimmy. But Theory blind tags in and drop kicks Orton before he can get the RKO. Baylor then comes in, takes out Theory. Then he goes up for the coup de grace, but Theory moves. Theory goes for the ATL. Finn gets out of the ATL. Finn then turns that into a reverse DDT. The Usos come in, break up the pin. After he breaks up the pin, runs right into an RKO. All hell breaks loose in the middle of the ring. Everybody's doing moves on everybody. Austin Theory sneaks up behind Finn Balor, hits the ATL for the 1-2-3. So we got the heels going over here. Like I say, a lot of action in this match. Pretty cool. Didn't have a problem with it. And, not much to say. Ongoing feud here between Balor and Theory. I think we're going to see Balor and Theory in a U.S. title program here soon. Obviously, they still have the SmackDown crew in town, so they're going to put Usos on the show if they can. They're trying to get all the ratings they can get. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty good match for Raw. There wasn't much matches going on until this point, other than the 3-minute Mysterio match and the women's tag match earlier. So, good fun match. Moving on, we got Edge coming out to his dark stuff. He comes out to justify his actions, justify what he's doing. We all see him turning heel here. Big time, doing this Undertaker deal. Hearing in the news the rumors about him starting a faction with some other heels. Obviously, Damian Priest is one of the first ones to join him because his distraction led to the victory at WrestleMania. Ed says he knew that when he saw Priest that I'm sorry, other way around. Damien says he knew that when he heard everything Edge was saying in all his promos about being on the dark side now, that he was talking to him. That's why he joined him. So then they started talking about AJ Styles. The fans here are funny because these guys are trying to explain their heel turn. The fans are saying, we don't fucking care, telling them they suck and all this stuff. Then they play back to the fans saying, oh, I used to care about them, but now I don't. And it was just, they tried to improvise, but to be honest with you, nobody fucking cared about what they were saying anyway. It's obvious they're fucking turning heel. Stop taking up all this time on the show and do something else. We didn't need a promo to find out that Damian Priest and Edge were together. We saw it last night. We didn't need an explanation. So AJ comes out. He gets the better of Damian Priest in the aisleway. Then he gets up into the ring, takes down Edge, sets up for a concerto, and when he's going to set up for the concerto, then Damian Priest comes to the rescue. They beat the hell out of Edge a little bit, beat the hell out of Styles for a little bit. He's down. He's out cold. Set him up for a concerto, but WWE officials slide in, break that up before it happens. Thank God. So we got this dark Edge, dark Damian Priest faction. See what's coming here with now that they're going to add more people. They're going to try to run roughshod on everybody, just as they did AJ Styles tonight. I like this because it can add a lot of depth and a lot of different stories can stem from this. And with the heel faction, it'd be nice to see with a heel faction, nice to see a babyface faction. So can somebody make a babyface faction for us? Who's going to do that? Cody Rhodes coming in here emotional in his speech. Very good promo he got very emotional, very genuine. Liked Cody Rhodes' promo tonight. I'm not the biggest Cody Rhodes fan, but I will embrace him as champion if he's not the one who unseats Roman. I don't think he's the one to unseat Roman, but he's certainly world championship level. But they need to get that other belt going so we have something for these other guys to fight for. And then, by all means, Cody Rhodes, go after that belt. Next time we got Academy and the Street Profits. I thought this match got cut because the night was just going by so fast with all these promos. And then the last hour, we ended up getting these couple tag matches. So Alpha Academy ends up attacking Street Profits immediately. Otis takes down Dawkins outside. Gable hits Ford with a German suplex. And all of a sudden, Adam Pearce comes out and says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you guys are going to act like this, we're going to have a no DQ Texas Tornado tag." Now, I'm sure he only said Texas Tornado tag because they were in Texas, because it's just a tag match. So, anyway, I figure this is exciting. So, they go to break, they come back. We got Dawkins and Otis pairing off. They go to ringside. Gable goes for a stinger splash, ends up going ringside forward. So, we got all three guys out in the corner, just like we did in the WrestleMania triple threat match to open the show yesterday. Ford does the same exact spot where he jumps over the corner, takes out the whole group. Profits then do some double suplexes on Gable, try to cover him, but only get a 2 count. Otis comes in there, just smashes down on the Street Profits. Gable hits a German quarter, then a fisherman suplex on Ford, only gets 2. Then another weird spot here. Otis is trying to lift Dawkins, and then Gable just chop blocks Otis. I didn't understand that because it kind of looked like Dawkins was trying to work on Otis, but Otis was actually trying to put a move on Dawkins, and Gable broke it up. But anyway, Alpha Academy's firmly in control here. Dawkins then comes out of nowhere with a big spine buster on Gable. Tries to go for a pin. Otis jumps, splashes on top of that, then splashes on top of Dawkins. Gable tries for a pin, but Ford kicks out. Gable hits a big flying lariat on Dawkins, then hits double exploder. So Alpha Academy hits stereo exploder suplex. Gable hits moonsault on Ford. Otis hits a Vader bomb. They both try pinning their respective opponents, but only get 2. Otis heads ringside, picks up the apron, brings out a table. Get the table set up in the corner of the ring, not leaning up at the turnbuckle, but actually set up as a table to the corner. Dawkins is laid across the table, but then he gets off, gets rid of Otis, who was on the top rope. Otis gets crotched, gets slammed into the steps of the ringside area. Ford then takes care of Gable. Eventually gets up on the top rope. Gable then crotches him. Gable's trying for a superplex here. Ford fights out of it. Gable backflips off the turnbuckle, runs right into a big right hook by Dawkins, lands him right across the table. Ford then goes up for a big flying frog splash onto the table for the 1, 2, 3. So Profits come out of here looking strong. Fun match. The show probably needed it because there wasn't much wrestling tonight. I enjoyed seeing these two teams go at it. They did repeat some WrestleMania spots, but whatever. They were good spots. I enjoyed what they did here. And then I don't know what the hell's up next for either of these two teams. RK Bros run down every single team in Raw. You know, God love Chad Gable, what they're doing. They deserve something there. They deserve to stay in the title picture, get another shot. The Street Profits, though, I mean, it's been the same thing for fucking years. These Street Profits. Montez Ford is goddamn talented as hell, athletic, does some amazing things. But when's the time when he's going to break off and do a singles run? Because he's being held down. Angelo Dawkins, for Christ's sake, looks like a middle school kid that got lost on his way to basketball practice. I mean, he barely does anything in the ring. He does, he brings a little bit of a bruiser quality to the matches, but I mean, we all see Montez Ford as a star of that team, and a lot of teams are like that, where one guy's stronger than the other, but not to this degree. Montez Ford clearly looks like he can make a singles run. Dawkins looks like he cannot survive outside of a tag team. And I'm not knocking Angelo Dawkins. I like the Street Profits. I like Angelo. I like what they do. I'm just saying that they came up in 2019 as the same gimmick. They've been a babyface team that that I don't even know if the Street Profit's supposed to be a drug dealer or what, or just a street basketball player. But Angelo Dawkins comes out here looking all sloppy with the basketball uniform. It's like I say, he looks like somebody who missed the bus to the basketball game. Ford at least looks clean, and his move set's very clean and very smooth and very athletic, and you can see some future there. And he's very entertaining too. He's the more charismatic of the two. So Ford really has everything going for him, while Dawkins doesn't. And so I worry about what would happen to Angelo Dawkins. Although after this long of a time, something different is really all I want to see. So we finish the show up here with Reigns coming out to a big ovation. He wants everybody to acknowledge him. They acknowledge him. Then he has Heyman go over all the accomplishments of the bloodline. And then Reigns basically alludes to the fact that we will find out what happens next on Friday. And so we'll find out on SmackDown what the hell they're planning on doing next with this unified title. At least hopefully we'll get somewhere with that. I don't know what they're going to do with it. What the hell could they do? Are they going to just have one belt? If they only have one belt, then who the fuck is going to feud with them? It's not really logical that anybody can defeat them right now. They got to at least introduce another belt, push their secondary titles way higher up on the priority list, or he holds both belts and somebody sneaks a win in on him, or pins somebody else in a triple threat match and gets one of the belts off of them, so all these other guys can feud for this. Because we can't just have one main storyline and then a bunch of junk. Now they're setting stuff up. They weren't going to get that set up today. We'll see that on SmackDown. That's something to look forward to for Friday. It's a reason to tune in. But I'm interested to see what the hell they're going to do. I wish you guys would comment and tell me something since you're in here. But I don't know. Other than that, that's pretty much the show, guys. I mean, a good episode of Raw tonight as far as tying up loose ends from WrestleMania, but not that much action. Matches were very short. The two men's tag matches and the third hour were definitely above average matches, and even the women's tag match was pretty good. I didn't want to go move for move there because these women's matches get sloppy. They're hitting moves all over the place. But Sasha and Naomi looking strong with the lung blower finisher. That they're the thing I like about Sasha and Naomi is that almost every match they've had, they've hit a different sequence for their finish. It's so I like that. I like a meteor and then a split-legged moonsault, or a split-legged moonsault then a frog splash, or a backstabber and then a rear view, or a modified assisted lung blower like they just did tonight. So they're showing that they actually are a decent tag team because they got a good tag team move set. When they go to do their double teams, they have chemistry there. So I like that. RK Bro, I have no idea who's going to knock them off or what the hell's going to happen with them, but they're over like Rover, so keep it going. Now, eventually they're going to have to split, which will be sad, but whatever. Other than that, I think we got a U.S. title program to look ahead to with Theory and Balor. I would assume Theory's going to get that as a stepping stone off of Balor. We got Edge forming a faction. Like I say, we're going to see Rhea Ripley join that. We're going to see Tommaso Ciampa join that. And then we got Braun Breaker getting his NXT title back tonight. So, oh God, I can't close the show without recapping the fact that we finally saw Veer. Everybody's trolling about Veer. Talking about such a big deal they need to see Veer. I've been seeing Veer wrestle for 6 months. Either on Main Event, and you could watch him on TV if you went on Peacock and watch Main Event. He's on there. He's at all the house shows. He's in dark matches every night. We know what we're getting. He's very, very, very green in the ring. He's very powerful in his presentation, doesn't sell a lick of anybody's offense, and he's presented like a complete monster. They're going to present that, throw that up against Roman Reigns, see what happens. But I think that, with Veer coming in, working with Mysterio, that's good. I'm glad to not see the Veers coming vignettes every fucking week now. But whether or not Veer's going to get over on the main roster, I don't know. I don't actually see it. So, but whatever. We'll see what happens if they book him correctly. That'd be great. But other than that, guys, I'll be back tomorrow for some extra news and a couple other days this week. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Beyond the Mat WWE, Beyond Matt WWE without the D. And you got YouTube channel, Facebook page, and we'll be posting podcasts on all platforms. I'll archive this. If you missed it, you can always rewind back. And I'll catch you guys later. Have a good night.